So last week I did a video on the term woke and its use as a right-wing propaganda term. And I got some interesting responses on this and other social media that I think deserve some merit and some mention, because they were a reminder that actually this issue is a lot more complicated and a lot more interesting than what I presented in that brief video last week. Because the reality is that woke wasn't just a term that the right wing invented for its own uses. It's much more interesting than that. Woke actually did have a meaning. It was a term of resistance. It was a term of small d democracy. To my knowledge, the term woke was coined by the blues singer Leadbelly in the 1930s and was used by the civil rights movement since then to refer to the importance of staying aware of all of the many ways and insinuations by which racism, often subtly, is used to oppress in society. It's a powerful word. It's an important word. It is a word that should absolutely be used in that way. But you can't use it in that way because the right wing has incorporated the term and applied its own reactionary response to it. Not a meaning per se, but eliciting a negative reaction to it. So the brilliance of this is, not only did the right wing create a useful propaganda term, but they are denying a resistance movement the language that they use to resist the right wing. It's brilliant. It's dastardly, but it's brilliant. And it's a technique that the right wing has perfected to an art form. Let's take another term that the right wing has done this to. The term socialist and socialism. When we use the term socialist or socialism today, the connotation it carries and the immediate response that we have is the dark state tyranny of the old Soviet Union and the gray bread lines and the doldrums of economic shortage and inefficiency and state totalitarianism and police state tactics and the constant surveillance of the Soviet system. That's what we think about. That's not what socialism actually means, and that's not what socialists actually want. The term socialist is actually a term of resistance to capitalism. If you're a socialist, you believe that capitalism is intrinsically exploitative and that it cannot be reformed, that it can only be replaced, and optimally, as a socialist, you believe that it should be replaced by a system by which the people democratically control the means of production. You believe that the demos, the people, should control the means of production, and that the means of production should not be owned by wealthy individuals. That's socialism. But any attempt to talk about this, any attempt to debate the merits and demerits of capitalism is responded to with socialism and Stalinism and the purges and the pogroms and the breadlines. And we can't have a conversation. The right has incorporated the term for their own use and denied that term to the resistance, which is kind of rough. Because if you are a socialist and you can't use the word socialism, you are at a distinct disadvantage in the discourse. You have a distinct disadvantage in the debate where you have to try to explain why what you're talking about is not the connotation that everybody thinks. It's brilliant. It's dastardly. But it is a technique that the right has perfected. The assault against language. Look, George Orwell once wrote in his brilliant essay, Politics in the English Language, that political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give the appearance of solidity to pure wind. And nobody has perfected that more than the right wing.